What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back, and today I am bringing you yet another fantastic Pokemon card auctions of the week recap. So much to go over each and every week. This week we saw a couple of cards come by in auction from the newest set, Silver Tempest, a couple of Lugia style cards, if you know what I mean. We saw several BGS 10 Black Label cards, tons and tons of Japanese cards, and of course, I'm sure you've already heard of it, the CGC 9 Pikachu Illustrator card, the Illustrator, if you will, came by in auction. So we're going to check out all these auction results. Please stay tuned. Hey, please give this video a like. Please consider being a subscriber if you're not already, and please use my eBay affiliate link to support the channel if you do any shopping on eBay this holiday season. It helps me out tremendously, so thank you all so much. Folks, if it's all the same to you, we're going to take a little breather on reporting on the Moonbryon VMAX. We've been seeing it a lot these past few weeks, so we're not going to really talk about that card in the auction recap. Alright folks, let's dive right into this auction recap, starting out with some Silver Tempest and a couple of Lugia cards. Here we saw the Gold Secret Rare Lugia V-Star come by. It sold this week in auction, raw of course, for $124.22. We also saw a Full Art Lugia V, sold for $31 this week. But then, the alternate art Lugia V came by. A couple sales occurred. One sold for $330, the other one for $455. So this is most definitely the chase card of Silver Tempest. We'll be keeping our eyes on this card for several weeks to come. I wanted to touch on a couple of auctions from Lost Origin set. Here is a Pikachu VMAX, the gold and black card, sold as a PSA 10 this week for $167, while the gold and black Mew VMAX sold for $161. And then we saw this Radiant Gardevoir come by as a PSA 10, and it sold for $207. Several BGS 10 Black Label cards come by. Here is a Japanese Rainbow Rare Charizard V-Star that sold for $1,725, and a Japanese Charizard V alternate art sold this week for $2,550. Here is an English Black Label Charizard V Secret Rare card from Champion's Path. It sold this week for $2,550 as well. And then lastly, for our BGS 10 Black Label cards, here is a Pikachu Joker playing card, sold for $860. A couple of cards, just a couple from the XY era. Here's a Mega Mewtwo EX from Breakthrough set, sold as a PSA 10 for $149. And then we had a Gyarados EX Secret Rare card from Breakpoint set sell for $235. Here are several black and white Japanese EX cards that came by. The Entei EX sold for $405. The Deoxys here sold for $315, while the Giratina sold for $374. Here's a Jirachi EX that sold for $355. A Groudon that sold for $610. Kyogre, $477. The Mew sold for $741. And the Mewtwo EX, $760. Then we also saw this Raikou EX that sold for $405, and the Rayquaza sold for $775. And last but not least, the Palkia EX here sold for $405. A couple more Japanese cards. Here is a PSA 10 signed Reds Challenge Full Art card, sold for $1,025. And then we also had a signed Blue Tactics Full Art Trainer card that sold for an even $1,000. A couple other promo cards. Here is a Pikachu on the Ball card that sold as a Gem Mint 10 for $338. And then here is a special delivery Bidoof card we haven't seen come by in a while. This one sold as a PSA 10 for $769. Getting into some Diamond and Pearl cards, here's a holographic Celebi from Mysterious Treasures. Beautiful, beautiful card. Sold for $1,625 this week, while the Charizard Level X from Supreme Victor sold for $2,700. And then here is a Mewtwo EX from Ruby and Sapphire that sold for $1,825. Alright, on to some WOTC cards. Here is a Pikachu from the Australia Poke Tour, sold as a PSA 10 for $2,005. We had the signed Jumbo Base Set Charizard, something I haven't seen before. This card sold for $1,724 in auction. Here is a Base 2 Alakazam with a big old swirl. That is a beautiful swirl, if I do say so. This card sold for $621. A couple CGC 10 WOTC holos came by. Here's an unlimited base set Zapdos that sold for $360, while the unlimited holographic Muck sold for $113. Up next, a couple of unlimited Charizard holos. Here is a Dark Charizard holo from Team Rocket set that sold for $1,625. And then we saw a Blaine's Charizard holo that sold for $1,380. Here is, in my opinion, one of the best non-holo Gengar cards you can get. It's Sabrina's Gengar from Gym Challenge. This card is a PSA 10, sold for $700 this week. Getting into some Neo cards, here is an absolute banger in Slowking. This is a Slowking holo from Neo Genesis. Very, very low population card, definitely less than 10. This card sold as a PSA 10 for $5,900. A couple of first edition holos from Neo Destiny. Here's a Dark Porygon 2 that sold for $916, and a Dark Caesar that sold for $1,225. And lastly, for our eBay sales, here is a PSA 10 first edition base set booster pack that was graded, sold for $7,699. Just a handful of interesting sales from this week's PWCC weekly auction block. Here is a Charizard holo from EX Power Keepers, sold for $1,950. And then check this out. The reverse holo card from the set, the reverse holo Charizard, sold for more than double, selling for $4,200 this week. And here is a Japanese Shining Magikarp that sold for $7,500. And then here we had a complete PSA 10 lot of all of the Japanese fossil cards, including all the non-holos, sold for $9,300. And then lastly, on PWCC, we saw a Crystal Charizard hit a pretty impressive number this week. It was selling for like $10,000 to $12,000 as a PSA 10. This week it sold for $16,800. Ooh, and I did want to mention this first edition Neo Revelation box that was opened by PWCC and authenticated, but it sold for $19,800. It's an absolute shame that companies like PWCC have to open up these boxes and verify the contents. It's sad. I hate that part of the hobby of, resealing and counterfeiting and all that. Sucks. And to finish off our auction recap, we had several amazing sales from Golden Auctions. Here is a first edition PSA 10 Shining Charizard from Neo Destiny, sold for $11,040. Here is a BGS 10 Pristine Japanese base set Charizard, sold for $6,300. I would have thought it would have went for a little bit more than that. What do y'all think? Here is a lot of all of the first edition cards from base set in PSA 9 that sold for $40,800. And the auction of the week, it of course has to go to the CGC 9 Pikachu Illustrator card that sold for a whopping $672,000. And that concludes our auction recap, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next one.